It's my pleasure to welcome Dr. Silvia Pfeiffer on Grow in our online magazine and talking about telehealth and talking about Coviu. Silvia, today was a big day for you, is a big day for you because telehealth has obtained permanent Australian funding. So that must make you very happy, obviously.
It is like getting an early Christmas present, indeed.
Yeah. So for those doctors out there who would not be familiar, I'll let you the honor of introducing or reminding us what Coviu is.
Yeah, so Coviu is a video telehealth platform. It's a software that we offer to healthcare practitioners to allow them to actually start delivering video consultations to their patients.
Yes.
And that's as part of this new initiative, or the lot of work that has been going on in the last 2 years during the pandemic, specifically to encourage healthcare providers to offer more services via digital means to their patients.
Now, what is spectacular in your story, in Coviu's story, is that you are the chosen Australian government solution. So tell us how you got to be in that amazing position.
Yeah, we were at the right time, ready at the right place. So it's just one of those things where stars have aligned. So in 2019, we started working with the Health Direct platform. Health Direct is an organization that is being funded by federal and state health departments to help the uptake of video telehealth. So it's one of the things they do. It's not everything they do. They have other activities as well. But one of the things they offer is the Health Direct video call platform. And that Health Direct video call platform was using a different software provider before 2019. In 2019, we were chosen as the provider, and so we developed Covio up as the platform. And because we were in place by 2020, when the pandemic hit, we obviously got huge uptake through the government there. And the government is offering also for all GPs a free video telehealth platform through Health Direct Video Call. And that's our white labeled software.
Now, many doctors at the start of the pandemic, they would just jump onto FaceTime, Skype, WhatsApp, and all these existing platforms. What makes Coviu a better idea?
Yeah, everyone has obviously chosen to use what they knew before, and those platforms were made for either communication between friends or as a Skype platform, mostly friends and family, or as a corporate solution. Zoom is something that is being used in corporate boardrooms. None of these platforms was custom built for healthcare, so the use for healthcare video consultations is not actually fully appropriate. You wouldn't normally hand out your address book to your patients. That's what Skype does, right? You hand out your contacts to your patients, and they can at any one point in time try and call you up, because that's what you would do with friends and family. That's not appropriate for a business environment. And similarly, the use of Zoom, which is really focused on boardrooms and on the use of video sessions for corporate use, that's also not quite appropriate when you're in a patient-clinician relationship, because the clinician might want you to wait until they're ready. So there's things like functionalities that we've created, like waiting in a waiting room, a virtual waiting room with music until the clinician is ready to pick you up. We have included payment gateways, so that payments can be made. Medicare transactions have been included. We've even included, through a partnership, an ability to bring in a translator at the click of a button within like 3 minutes. And that's really important for partners in healthcare, because sometimes they don't speak the same language as the patients. And there's a huge variety of patients that require healthcare. So it's very custom developed for the use case.
Now, in our universe where we help doctors build a strong online presence, their digital marketing, I often get the feeling that doctors will tell me, hey, I'm not really tech savvy, it's all going fast, the technical evolution. Did you bump into this type of obstacles with your customers when you were introducing more technology?
Absolutely. So the beginning of the pandemic was a big revelation to healthcare providers. So most healthcare providers had never had to touch telehealth before. This is particularly true for healthcare providers in urban areas. Those in rural areas obviously had a little bit more use for it in the past, and that's also the only place where there were Medicare reimbursements available. Now, suddenly, telehealth was made available for every healthcare consultation, and that was a big challenge. We had GPs call us up and said, "We've signed up for your platform, but we can't use it. What do we do?" Just for us 5 minutes later to realize, oh, they haven't actually got a camera. So how are you going to do a video call without a camera associated or attached to your computer? Others had problems with the setup of the firewalls, and so they weren't being able to connect to the internet properly through a video consultation functionality. There were people that didn't even know how to sign up online, so they called us, and they wanted on the phone instructions on how to get through. So we had all sorts of problems, and it's understandable because the industry has, other than a practice management software, clinicians have never really had to go with the modern flow of technology, right? There were plenty of clinicians that have never had to touch a video call before. And there was a lot of angst and anxiety by the clinicians to pick it up, which is completely understandable. So the first thing I did was I hired a lot of young people on our helplines. We were 7 people at the beginning of the pandemic, people in customer success, really helping our customers succeed with their software. And so that team, we immediately hired massively. So we hired like 10, 15 people within those first 2 weeks to help our customers on board so that our customers could properly use telehealth and were set up for success. That was very, very important for us.
Now, with today's announcement that telehealth becomes a permanently funded aspect of healthcare in Australia, where do you see this going? What's the next big step or the next big plan you have at Coviu?
Yeah, it's a very important announcement for the Australian healthcare environment because telehealth has always just been made extended long enough to get us through the next part of the pandemic. And it was supposed to end, those Medicare reimbursements were supposed to end by the end of this year. So that's only a couple of weeks away. So I'm very, very happy that the announcement was made. It will enable a very big change. That's because people thus far have thought, oh yeah, it's just for the pandemic. I'll just put something in place to, lead me over it. But now, because it becomes permanent, there is a fundamental rethinking of business models. Is this something that I want to actually offer to all my patients? Because it might be useful to all my patients, not just those that are isolating at home because of COVID or those living in rural and remote areas. It might actually be useful for patients that have a mental health problem and don't often leave their house. It might be somebody who is at work regularly and hardly ever gets the time to go and see their GP. So it's a really important change for our industry. Healthcare providers will have to start rethinking how they offer healthcare services to patients and make telehealth a part of the service offering. Just like we are now working in a hybrid environment, you can see that I'm working from home. A hybrid environment in our normal workplaces, we can do the same thing with clinicians. It will be a hybrid approach to healthcare, a hybrid approach to how we receive healthcare. Sometimes we will go to see a healthcare provider in person. Sometimes we will go and see them online.
Now, would you go as far as picturing a future where there's doctors who are doing only video calls all day long?
That exists. There are a number of companies that have sprung up that are doing telehealth only. So those companies are, healthcare providers that have a set of clinicians, a set of doctors, a set of psychologists, and they have come together to actually offer care online and only online. And that is a possibility. I do think, however, the majority of clinicians will offer hybrid services. And hybrid is important because sometimes you really do need to see somebody in person, and sometimes you really don't. And so we just need to offer patients choice. It will help patients get to their clinicians earlier. It will help identify illnesses faster. It will help patients that are otherwise, that just don't go to see a doctor to actually get help. So it offers more access, and getting access to care is really, really important. So I'm really happy about this development.
Coviu is obviously, in business terms, a big success story. How are you guys positioned on the global front? Because I imagine you're not the only player. Where is the next big leap for Coviu as a global business?
Yeah, very good question. We will continue to focus on the Australian market because the Australian market now, obviously, with this announcement also will undergo further changes. But at the same time, we've also started to reach out to the US and are starting to set up a business in the US. And we're fully aware that the competition in the US is huge. There's a lot of big companies in the US. The two biggest telehealth companies of the world, American Well and Teladoc, are both in the US market. But when we look at the number of consultations that they've delivered in the last 2 years, we're not that far behind. We've only done like a quarter of the ones that they've done. So we've built a platform that enables existing healthcare businesses to adopt telehealth rather than enforcing specific new businesses to be created that just do telehealth. It's a big difference. And so we think we have something to offer to the US market. Our particular focus is on the development of clinical tools. So during a video consultation, clinicians are limited right now to the tools that have been developed for, the boardroom, screen sharing, and maybe if they're lucky, there is a whiteboard. But clinicians need more than that. They need standardized assessments. They need tools for the calculation of range of motion, maybe using, AI tools from a webcam. And our latest project is actually to do wound care analysis via video, so supporting clinicians with better information during a video call, using all the available digital information that is available in a video call. So that's really important to us, and that's how we intend to make a difference.
Now, from the sound of it, it's only the beginning on your journey.
Absolutely. We have a long journey still ahead of us. We were only spun out of the CSIRO in 2018, so it's only been a couple of years. And we're really setting ourselves up for bigger, better things, that we can support our healthcare providers in their digital transformation into a modern future of healthcare. We want to support them. We want to be their partners. We want to guide them with technology, but at the same time, everything we do is on demand from the healthcare provider. So we will listen to everything that they say to us, all the feedback we get, all the requirements of improvements. That's very important to us, and there's so much more to do.
Fantastic. I'm sure you'll keep us posted. Thank you very much, Silvia, for clarifying the vision behind Coviu, and all the best with the next step. And I'm sure we'll hear more of you in the very near future. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.